In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to apply for a spouse open work permit inside Canada. Without wasting time, let's quickly dive in. So the first thing you do on your web browser is you type in cic.gc.ca or canada.ca, and then you're going to choose English or French depending on what works for you. And then once that opens up, you go straight to where it says work. Click on that, then where it says get a work permit, and then we are doing application for temporary workers. You click on that, and then here it says apply for a work permit. Once you click on that, we go down here where it says number 3, how to apply. We choose that, and then on here it says where are you applying from. So here I'm going to choose inside of Canada. I've already made a video on how to apply for the spouse open work permit outside Canada. You will find that video in the description area below if that's exactly the one you're looking out for. But this one is how to apply for a spouse open work permit inside Canada. So we choose that. Then it's going to ask you, do any of these situations describe you? So right here we have, you can apply from inside Canada if one of these applies to you. Your spouse, common law partner, or parent has a valid study or work permit, right? So you can take the time to read this through and choose what fits you. But for this demo, I'm going to choose this one, which says your spouse, common law partner, or parent has a valid study or work permit. So to answer that question, does any of these situations describe you? I'm going to say yes. Then it's going to tell you apply online from inside Canada. So it's just going to show you the step by step on what to do. I'm just going to scroll all the way down where it says create an account or sign in, and then you click on that. Once that opens up, it brings you to this page where if you do not have an account, you're just going to click here to register, follow the prompt to create an account. But if you already have a GC account, all you have to do is you're going to click here, sign in, or you sign in with the sign-in partner. So for this demo, we are going to sign in with the GC. So after you sign in, you are just going to go through some security questions. That's just to help secure your account. And then you're going to apply, it's going to bring you to this page where you're going to see view the applications you've submitted, meaning if you have an application that you've already submitted, it's going to show over here. And here it says continue an application you haven't submitted, meaning for this application we're going to start at some point. If you stop, you can sign back in, and you're going to see around this area, you're going to see where it says continue application, and that's what you're going to click to continue your application. But because we don't have anything going on right now, you are just going to choose apply to come to Canada. Once you click on that, scroll down where it says determine your eligibility and apply online. Then we're going to choose visitor visa, study, and our work permit. So we click on that. Then it's going to ask you questions. Again, remember, this is an application for spouse open work permit inside Canada. So our answering these questions is going to go via the process of someone who is in Canada. What would you like to do in Canada? I'm going to say work. How long are you planning to stay in Canada? Temporarily more than 6 months. Select a code that matches the one on your passport. For this demo, we're going to use Ghana. What is your current country/territory of residence? If you are presently in Canada, you should select Canada. So we're going to choose Canada. Okay, Canada is right there. Do you have a family member who is a Canadian citizen or permanent resident and is 18 years or older? If you do, you choose yes. If you don't, simply choose no. So choose your date of birth. For this demo, I'm just going to use 1988, and then my month, I'm going to use any random month here, May. Okay, so for that, you put your date of birth, and then it's going to ask you, are you a lawful permanent resident of the United States with a valid US citizenship and immigration services? Okay, I didn't choose anything. You're going to say yes or no, so I'm going to say no. Next. then it's going to ask you, what is your current immigration status in Canada? Sometimes these questions can be a little bit confusing. All you need to do is right here, you can just click on the arrow, then it breaks down everything down for you. A student is a person who is legally allowed. So you're going to click on that if you're confused, and then based on the explanation, you're going to choose what fits you. So for this demo, I'm going to use a visitor based on a spouse open work permit of a spouse who came to visit their loved one, and now they're trying to turn, as in that visitor visa, to a work permit because they are eligible to apply for an open work permit, right? So next, does one of the following apply to you? I'm going to skip this area because a spouse, an open work permit lets you work with any employer. So this is the one that I am going to choose, this one right here. So for this first question, I'm going to say no. Are you a spouse, common law partner, or dependent child of a person who holds a work permit for a job in National Occupation Classification 0A, B, and all the rest of them? You can take time and read this good information and see what fits you. So I'm going to choose yes, because it's for someone who has a National Occupation Classification in any of these job categories, right? And then, are you a spouse called dependent child of who? For this one, it could be you. If that's where you fall under, you choose that. So for this one, I'm going to choose no. Next, are you applying under the Canada-USA-Mexico agreement or under a public policy related to work permits? I'm going to say no. Next, what is your marital status? I'm going to say married. There are options here: widowed, never married, common law. So if you're common law, then that's the sense. So this is spouse or common law open work permit, right? So for this demo, I'm going to choose married. What is your destination of province? If visiting, so I'm going to choose Alberta. Next. So now it says you may be eligible to work in Canada with an open work permit. So the next thing I'm going to do now is hit on continue. So it's telling me they're going to ask me, we're going to ask you a few more questions. Based on your answers, we'll provide you with a personal checklist of all the documents you need to submit with your application. So just remember that based on the way you answer this personal or this eligibility questions, your checklist or your personal checklist of the documents you're going to provide might be different for other people, right? And that's okay. So you just have to answer the questions the way it fits you. So you click on continue. Are you accompanying a family member who has status in Canada? Sometimes, again, this can be confusing. It says accompanying a family member means you'll be staying with a family member who is already in Canada as a visitor, worker, or student. So, and that's exactly what fits this application, this demo application. So I'm going to say yes. Next. Oh, lest I forget. So once you're working on this application, so also ensure that you look at this new public policy that came out for open work permits and see what fits you. So I've been messing around with it. So this is like spouse or common law partners of study permit holders. So for each one, you're trying to figure out if you have a study permit, if you are able to, if your spouse is able to get an open work permit. So do take the time to take a look at this information here. I'll leave it in the description area of this video. So depending on where you fit in, if it's a study permit, work permit, whatever you fit in, you can take a look and see if your spouse is eligible for an open work permit, right? So when does your status in Canada expire? So for this one, I am going to say, let me find something, 2020. Okay, 2022. Okay. May 05. Next. This is just that was a made up number, so you're going to put the exact the right information for yours. Have you had a medical exam performed by an IRCC authorized panel physician within the last 12 months. For this one, I'm going to choose yes, reason being, if you came into the country based on a study permit as a visitor, maybe by chance you did go through an authorized physician and did a medical, but if you did not, you can simply choose no, but I'm going to say yes. Next. Do you want to submit an application for a family member? So I'm going to choose no, but let's say you let's say you're on a work permit and you fall under that classification of A, NOC 0A and B, and you're trying to apply also an open work permit for your spouse, then here you are just going to choose yes and use your personal GC account to also apply for your spouse to get their own open work permit. Also in the description area of this video, I'm going to leave a simple 3 minutes video I made on a question: can I use my personal GC account to apply for my spouse? I did answer this question and what you can do. So go back, you check the description area of this video, you'll see the link to that video, and it's going to help you with this particular format if that's exactly the route you're going. But for this demo, we're going to say no. Next. Are you giving someone access to your application? I'm going to say no. Next. In the past 10 years, have you given your fingerprint and photo biometrics for an application to come to Canada? Again, I'm going to say yes, because if you're already in Canada, that means by chance at some point you did give your fingerprints to get into Canada. Next. There are fees associated with this application. Will you be paying your fees, or are you fees exempt? I said I'm going to be paying my fees. Next. Are you able to make digital copy of your documents with a scanner or camera? I'm going to say yes, I can. Will you be paying your application fees online? You're going to need a credit card and all this good information here. I'm going to say yes. Next. So now you have the chance to review your answers. So take the time to see all the answers you've provided. And if there is anything you feel like you need to change around, on this arrow, you can click on that, and then it takes you to that point and you edit all this information here. You do the same for this one up until the end. But if you are not really satisfied with everything that you put in and you just want to start all over again, you go here where it says start again. So let's just presume that we've reviewed every information and everything looks good with your skilled word. Continue. And then it tells you the first step way, which is use your account, save your application, upload your documents, and pay your fees. Then it's just going to give you good information on the things to look out for. You can take the time when you get to this point to read and understand the formats that you need. So we're just going to click continue. So now my document checklist. So here I do have application to change conditions, extend my stay or remain in Canada as a worker. In the description area again of this video, I will leave a link to a video I made on how to fill out this spouse open work permit form, IMM 5710. You can use this application form for different types of work permits, but I made that particular video specifically for spouse open work permit. I'll leave the link in the description area, and you can follow the guide in that video to fill out yours. And to the best way to download this is you click on this button, it opens in a new link, or a new window rather, and then you just click on this arrow and you're able to download that information. So based on the way I answered these eligibility questions, it's telling me that I'm going to fill out this information, and then I'm going to get supporting documents: my passport, digital photo, proof of upfront medical exam, marriage license / certificate, family member proof of status. Then sometimes some of these supporting documents can be confusing. That's why you have this question mark here. So if you're a little bit confused, you click on it, then it tells you what exactly that you need to provide. You can do the same for every one of them. It gives you a detailed information on what you need to do here. So if you get to this point and you're worried or you're confused, do not worry. Click on this button and you're good to go. So just to get this application as in sorted out, I'm going to pause here so I can upload all the necessary documents, and then get back to this application and finish up. To upload, all you need to do is you click on the button here, and then you are going to choose your file from your computer and you upload. I'll be right back. Okay, so I was able to upload all the necessary documents. So as you can see, everything is in green, meaning that I uploaded all the needed documents. But just so you guys know, this isn't really like the right documents. I use all these documents as a demo just to make sure that I show you guys how to get to the end of this application. So all you have to do again, it's upload each and every one of them and put the right information. And once you're done uploading your information, this optional document, you just leave it. And then here it says your fees: work permit 1, open work permit holder fee 1. So $155 and $100 in total. You're going to be paying $255. Then the next thing you do is what? On here, you're going to click next. And then here, your declaration and electronic signature. I did mention in when I was filling out the spouse open work permit application form that once you're done filling out that application form, you can leave it blank because you're going to be providing your electronic signature here. So once you upload that document of the completed application form, don't worry about it even if you don't sign it, because you're going to sign it with your electronic signature here. So here you're just going to have the time to look at your document and then review every information. Then scroll all the way down, declaration of applicant, you're going to click I agree. Then here, you're going to provide your name. So for this demo, I believe I used this here. That's the name I used. So you provide that information. And then security question, you're going to answer the security question just to make sure that you safeguard your account. So once you get to the next phase now, again, this is a required document checklist. It gives you like a final breakdown of everything. So just review, notice regarding personal information. You can take time to read all of this. Declaration of applicant, read all of that. Then you're going to go down here where it says transmit and pay. You click on that. And then it gives you a breakdown of how much you're going to pay, which is 255 Canadian dollars. Transmit and pay. Then as usual, you're going to put your card holder's name, card number, expiring date, and the number on the back to help with the payment. And then you check out. And this is how to apply for the spouse open work permit inside of Canada. If you do have any questions, leave it in the description area of this video and I will attend to it. Thank you guys for watching, and bye for now.